Okay, so today I'm going to talk about business process reengineering. And business process reengineering is a very essential step in the growth of any company. So what it is basically a company will see that their sales or production or their efficiency has gotten stagnant, and they'll either internally or call in someone else to look at their process and see how they can make it more efficient. So what happens is they'll identify what's wrong with their business plan currently, and then identify what goals they want to achieve, and then they will look at their process, see how it works step by step, and then they'll see what they can do to re-engineer it to make it more efficient. And so MIS is a big part of this because it keeps track of everything and has like all the data together so that people can look at that data and that process and see how to change it. So there are many examples of companies doing this, but one big example that's happened recently is in the fast food industry. So the past couple of years, a lot of fast food companies have realized they were working very inefficiently and they were not getting the most money the most profit margin they could have been making. And so they looked at their processes and saw a default and saw how it was not working to its optimum efficiency. And so they changed their process and re-engineered everything to try to improve that. And so yeah, a lot of fast food companies did this, but the ones I saw that made these big changes online were Taco Bell, Burger King, and Wendy's. All had big re-engineerings like this. So I'm gonna talk about how their old process worked and then how they looked at it and realized they need to change it, and how their new process works and how that made them more efficient. So for these companies such as Taco Bell, in their old process, they had a warehouse where they would have all their materials, they would buy their materials and have it all sent to there. And then from that centralized warehouse, they would allocate the raw materials to each chain restaurant, and the food would be made at the chain and prepared there and then served to their customers. And so obviously it's not like they were making no money that type of way, because Taco Bell is a very big chain and was already successful, but they realized they could make their margins even better if they prepared the food elsewhere instead of having it made at the chains. So they realized that when they were making the food at the chains, it honestly was just a lot of unnecessary labor and unnecessary overhead that was being used, and they realized they could allocate those resources more efficiently to other areas of their business plan. So they looked through that step and realized they needed to change things, and they came up with their new process. So instead of the raw materials going straight from the warehouse to their retail stores, it was going to their warehouse, and then it was going to a centralized processing location. And at this location, they would turn the raw inventory into finished products. So they would prepare the meals and cook them. And then after that, the already made meals would be sent to the retail locations, so that instead of having to use that labor and overhead to make the food, all they had to do once the customer ordered it was reheat the food. And so that saved them a lot of labor and overhead and saved them a lot of money in their profit margins. So that is just one example of how business process reengineering has happened lately, and the fast food industry is an industry that definitely benefited from these changes. Thank you.